A poor black girl just used her last dollar to save a rich white boy's life. She had no idea this would unlock a chain of secrets about her own identity. Kesha Williams stares at the empty wallet in her hands. $0. She just spent everything. Her bus money, her lunch money, even the coins from her couch buying medicine for a stranger. The stranger. An unconscious teenager in designer clothes who collapsed outside Oakland's fanciest shopping district. Everyone else walked past him like he was invisible. But Kesha couldn't, even when it meant walking home in the rain, even when it meant going hungry tomorrow. Now the boy is breathing again, conscious, asking for her name. Sirens wail in the distance as paramedics arrive. A black Mercedes screeches to a halt. Panicked voices, designer shoes splashing through puddles. They're his family. They just got here racing from across town after getting the emergency call. And they're about to turn Kesha's world completely upside down. But let's rewind 12 hours earlier because what happened that Tuesday morning would explain everything about why Kesha couldn't walk away from a stranger in need. The alarm screams at 5:30 a.m. in their cramped Oakland apartment. Water stains spread across the ceiling like dark clouds. Kesha tiptoes past her 12-year-old brother Jamal, who's sleeping on the pull-out couch. His school clothes hang neatly on a chair, secondhand but ironed with care. In the tiny kitchen, her mother, Rosa, sits at their wobbly table. 42 years old, but her hands shake like she's 80. Diabetes, high blood pressure, a heart condition that makes every day uncertain. Rosa counts pills into a weekly organizer. Monday, 3 pills. Tuesday, 2 pills. Wednesday, 1 pill. Thursday through Sunday, empty. Morning, baby, Rosa whispers, not wanting to wake Jamal. Dark circles ring her tired eyes. Your interview is at 3 today, right? Kesha nods, guilt twisting in her stomach. Hidden in her dresser is a college acceptance letter. Nursing school at UC Davis. Full tuition, $28,000 a year. She's never told Rosa. How can she when they're already choosing between Rosa's insulin and Jamal's school supplies? I left some money on the counter for the bus, Rosa says. Kesha sees it. 5 crumpled dollar bills. Rosa's tip money from cleaning office buildings until midnight. Mom, you keep it. I can walk. Baby, it's 8 miles to downtown. Exercise is good for me. Rosa's eyes fill with tears she won't let fall. She knows. She knows Kesha is sacrificing her dreams piece by piece to keep their family afloat. In the refrigerator, a newspaper clipping catches the light. Williams Medical Center opens new children's wing. Kesha notices their last name matches, but Williams is common in Oakland. Means nothing. At Mel's Diner, where Kesha busses tables, she overhears the morning regulars. Rich businessmen complaining about problems she'd kill to have. My son crashed another car last week, one says, stirring sugar into expensive coffee. These kids don't appreciate anything. No gratitude. Kesha refills his cup silently, invisible, like she's been her whole life. Some people just don't understand what real struggle looks like. Another man agrees. Kesha wants to laugh or cry. These men spend more on lunch than her family spends on groceries in a month. Her boss, Sue, calls her over during the lunch rush. Kesha, honey, you're my best worker. Always on time, always kind to even the rudest customers, but the corporate says I can only give you 28 hours a week. Can't afford the benefits. 28 hours at $15 an hour. That's $420 a week before taxes. Rosa's insulin alone costs $300 a month. Their rent is $1,200. The math never works. I understand. Sue, are you looking for a second job? Third, actually. Sue's face falls. Baby, you're 19. You should be in college, chasing boys, making mistakes, not working herself to death. But what choice does Kesha have? After work, she walks through Piedmont, Oakland's wealthy neighborhood, where she cleans houses on weekends, mansion after mansion. Manicured lawns that probably cost more to maintain than her family's annual income. Children play in driveways next to cars worth more than most people's houses. A Tesla, a BMW, a Mercedes just like the one that would screech to a halt tomorrow. Kesha doesn't feel bitter. She's learned that bitterness is a luxury she can't afford. Instead, she feels invisible, like she's watching life through a window she'll never be invited to enter. At home, Jamal shows her his report card. Straight A's every single class. Maybe I can get a scholarship someday, he says, hope shining in his eyes. Like you will. Kesha forces a smile. Maybe, baby, keep studying. That night, after Rosa falls asleep, Kesha researches student loans on their cracked laptop. The numbers blur together. Interest rates, payment plans, debt that would follow her for decades. She calculates and recalculates, works the math from every angle. But 28 hours at minimum wage will never equal a college education. Her phone buzzes. A text from her high school counselor. UC Davis nursing program needs your enrollment decision by Friday. Don't let this opportunity slip away. Opportunity. What a cruel word. Kesha deletes the text. Then she opens her laptop and starts typing. Dear admissions office, I regret to inform you that I must decline. She stops, deletes everything, closes the laptop. Tomorrow she'll go to that job interview, another minimum wage position at a retail store. She'll smile, shake hands, pretend that folding clothes and working registers is her dream job. Because sometimes dreams have to die so families can live. But what Kesha doesn't know, what she couldn't possibly imagine, is that tomorrow's storm will wash away everything she thinks she knows about her life. That helping one stranger will unlock secrets buried for 20 years. That the girl who spent her whole life feeling invisible is about to discover she's been part of Oakland's most powerful family all along. But first, she has to survive tomorrow. One more day of impossible choices and quiet desperation. One more day of being ordinary Kesha Williams, who cleans up after rich people and dreams of dreams she'll never afford. The girl who's about to save a life and discover her own identity was stolen before she was even old enough to remember. But what happened next would test every value Rosa had ever taught her daughter about helping strangers, no matter the cost. Tuesday afternoon. Storm clouds gather like angry fists over Oakland. Kesha leaves her job interview at Target. Another rejection. Overqualified, they said. Qualified. Translation. We can't afford to pay you what you're worth. Rain starts falling as she hurries toward the bus stop. Each drop feels like the world crying for her lost opportunities. In her pocket, the UC Davis rejection letter she finally wrote, but never sent. Thunder crashes overhead through the downpour. She sees chaos unfolding near the upscale Piedmont shopping district. A crowd gathers around something on the sidewalk. But it's a strange crowd. People holding umbrellas, keeping their distance, pointing instead of helping. Someone call 911. A woman in a silk blouse shouts. But she's backing away, more concerned about her designer outfit than whatever emergency is happening. Kesha pushes through the circle of onlookers. What she sees makes her heart stop. A teenage boy, maybe 16, collapsed on the wet pavement. His skin has a grayish tint that screams medical emergency. Designer jeans, pristine sneakers that cost more than Kesha's monthly bus pass, a gold watch catching the rain. But money can't help him now. What happened? Kesha kneels beside him, ignoring the rain soaking through her thin jacket. He just dropped, says an elderly man with an expensive umbrella. Was arguing on his phone about something, then started shaking and went still. Kesha checks his pulse, weak but present. His breathing is shallow, erratic. She recognizes the signs immediately. Her mother's condition has taught her too much about medical emergencies. Diabetic shock, she mutters, checking his pockets for emergency supplies. Nothing. The ambulance is 20 minutes out. Someone calls. Traffic's blocked by the storm. 20 minutes. Kesha knows that's a death sentence. The boy's lips are turning blue. His glucose meter fallen from his pocket reads dangerously low. Does anyone have glucose tablets? Candy. Anything with sugar? She shouts to the crowd. Blank stares. These people have personal trainers and nutritionists. They avoid sugar like poison. The boutique manager appears in her doorway. Maybe we should move him inside. This is bad for business. Don't touch him. Kesha snaps. Possible head injury from the fall. But she knows what she has to do. 2 blocks away, she can see a pharmacy sign glowing through the rain. They'll have glucose gel, the only thing that might save this boy's life. The problem, she's got $23 to her name. Bus fare home, lunch money for tomorrow, everything. Her phone dies as she tries to call Rosa for advice. The storm intensifies, driving the remaining bystanders under covered areas. She's alone with a dying stranger. I'll be right back, she tells the unconscious boy, though no one else is listening. Kesha sprints through the storm. 2 blocks feels like 2 miles when every second counts. Designer boutiques blur past. Stores she's cleaned on weekends, filled with clothes that cost more than her family's rent. She bursts into the pharmacy, water streaming from her clothes onto marble floors. Emergency. She gasps. Diabetic boy, severe hypoglycemia. I need glucose gel now. The pharmacist hesitates. Do you have a prescription? Insurance card. Kesha empties her pockets. Crumpled bills wet from the rain. $2,347. Please. He's dying. I'll pay whatever it costs. Glucose gel is $18. $18. Her bus money, her food money, her money. The pharmacist sees her hesitation. Miss, if this is really an emergency, take it. Kesha slams the money on the counter. All of it. She doesn't think about walking home in the storm. Don't think about going hungry tomorrow. Doesn't think about how Rosa will react when she doesn't come home on time. She just runs back through the rain, clutching the glucose gel like a lifeline. The boy hasn't moved. If anything, he looks worse. The crowd has completely dispersed except for one figure, that elderly man with the umbrella watching her with calculating eyes. Glucose gel, she explains, kneeling in the puddles. This should help. She administers the medication carefully, the way she's seen paramedics do it on TV. Minutes pass like hours. Rain continues its assault on them both. Then a miracle. Color begins returning to his cheeks. His breathing steadies. Come on, she whispers. That's it. Stay with me. The boy's eyes flutter open, unfocused, but alive. What happened? You had a diabetic episode. Your blood sugar crashed. Just stay still. Help is coming. He looks around confused, his expensive clothes now ruined, at this stranger who sacrificed everything to save him. I'm David, he mumbles. David Williams. Williams. Kesha's heart skips. Same last name as hers. Same as the medical center, but Williams is common enough. I'm Kesha. Kesha Williams. Something flickers in David's eyes. Recognition, confusion. Before either can speak, sirens finally wail closer, and racing. Behind them that black Mercedes carrying people who are about to turn both their worlds upside down. What happened in those next few minutes would be captured by security cameras and change everything. But Kesha didn't know she was being watched. The glucose gel works slowly. Too slowly. David's consciousness flickers like a dying light bulb. In, out, in, out. Stay with me, David, Kesha whispers, checking his pulse every 30 seconds. Still weak, still irregular. The rain pounds harder. Her thin jacket offers no protection. Water seeps through her worn sneakers, but she doesn't move from his side. Kesha. David's voice is barely audible. Why are you helping me? Such a simple question, such a complicated answer. Because you needed help, but you don't know me. Kesha looks at this boy, probably her age, maybe younger. His clothes cost more than her family makes in months. His watch could pay Rosa's medical bills for a year. Doesn't matter, she says simply. David tries to sit up. She gently restrains him. Don't move, you hit your head when you fell. My family, he mumbles. They'll be worried. The paramedics called them. They're coming. What she doesn't say, she hopes his family cares enough to actually show up. Minutes stretch like hours. Kesha watches David's face, looking for signs of improvement. Color slowly returns to his lips. His breathing becomes less labored. Tell me about yourself, she says, trying to keep him conscious. What do you like to do? I play piano, classical stuff. My parents make me perform at their charity events. You enjoy it? David's laugh is weak but bitter. I enjoy disappointing them. Kesha understands. Different worlds, same pressure. Her disappointment comes from not having enough. He comes from having too much. What about you? David asks. What do you do? The truth feels too heavy. I work, help take care of my family. That's it. No school, no dreams. Kesha hesitates. I wanted to be a nurse. Help people. Wanted. Past tense. Can't afford it. David stares at her through rain-soaked eyes. But you're already helping people. You're helping me. Before she can respond, sirens pierce the air. Red and blue lights flash through the storm as paramedics arrive, followed by fire trucks and police. Professional efficiency takes over. 4 fluids, oxygen mask, stretcher. Kesha steps back, suddenly aware she's just a soaked teenager who probably overstepped her bounds. You the one who administered glucose? The lead paramedic asks. Yes, sir. His blood sugar was critically low. Quick thinking. You probably saved his life. The words should feel good. Instead, Kesha feels empty. She's broke, soaked, and stranded 8 miles from home with no way to get there. David, now stable on the stretcher, reaches for her hand. Thank you, he whispers. I don't know how to repay. You don't need to repay anything. Kesha interrupts. I'm just glad you're okay. She means it. Even broke, even stranded, she means it. David tries to remove his gold watch. Please take this. It's not enough, but I can't accept that. Kesha backs away. The watch probably costs more than her mother makes in a year. Really, I just did what anyone should do. But they didn't, David says, looking around at the empty sidewalk where dozens of people had stood and watched. They all walked away. The paramedic interrupts. We need to transport now. Family meeting us at the hospital. Yes, David says. Then to Kesha, what's your full name, so I can find you? Thank you properly, Kesha Williams. But you really don't need to. Williams. David's eyes widened. Something clicks behind them. Kesha Williams. Before she can ask what that look means, the ambulance doors close. Red lights disappear into the storm, carrying David to some expensive private hospital she'll never be able to afford. Kesha stands alone on the empty sidewalk. Rain soaks through her clothes. Her phone is dead, her wallet is empty, and she's got an 8-mile walk home through Oakland's worst neighborhoods in a thunderstorm. But she doesn't regret it. Not for a second. That's when the black Mercedes arrives. It doesn't pull up slowly like a normal car. It races around the corner, tires screaming against wet asphalt, and screeches to a halt in front of her. Two people emerge. A woman, maybe 60, with silver hair and commanding presence. Despite the storm, she moves with the confidence of someone who's never doubted her place in the world. Behind her, a younger man with David's features, but harder edges. They wear 1,000 raincoats like armor. Excuse me, the woman calls out. Are you the young lady who helped David? Kesha nods, suddenly self-conscious about her wet hair, her cheap clothes, her everything. I'm Catherine Williams, David's grandmother. This is his father, Robert Williams. That name again. Too many coincidences. Catherine studies Kesha with sharp eyes. The paramedic said you saved his life. Anyone would have done the same. No, Catherine says firmly. They wouldn't. We saw the security footage. Dozens of people walked past our grandson. You were the only one who stopped. Security footage. Kesha hadn't noticed cameras. Robert Williams steps forward. He's younger than Catherine, but carries the same authority. David said you spent your own money on medication for him. It wasn't that much. How much? Catherine asks. The question feels like a test. $18. $18. Catherine repeats. And what did that represent to you? Another test. Kesha considers lying, making herself sound less desperate. But something in Catherine's eyes demands honesty. Everything. Bus fare home. Food money for tomorrow. Silence. Robert and Catherine exchange a look loaded with meaning. What's your full name, dear? Catherine asks gently. Kesha Williams. The effect is immediate. Catherine goes pale. Robert takes a sharp breath. They stare at her like she's a ghost. Williams, Catherine whispers. How old are you, child? 19. More silence, more loaded looks. Your mother, Catherine says carefully. What's her name? Warning bells ring in Kesha's head. Why do these strangers care about her mother? Rosa. Rosa Williams. Catherine's hand flies to her chest. She stumbles backward, caught by Robert's arm. My God, she breathes. After all these years, grandmother. Robert's voice carries a warning. Are you certain? Catherine recovers her composure, but her eyes never leave Kesha's face. Dear, I think we need to have a conversation. A very important conversation. I should get home. My mother will be worried. Of course. But first, Catherine reaches into her purse withdrawing a business card. Heavy stock, gold embossing. Please call me tomorrow. There are things we need to discuss. Important things. Kesha takes the card. Williams Family Trust, an address in Oakland's wealthiest district. And please, Catherine adds, take this. She holds out several hundred bills. I can't for bus fare food. Consider it a small token of our gratitude. Kesha stares at the money. More cash than she's ever held at once. But something feels wrong about taking it. Thank you, but I can't accept this. Catherine's respect for her deepens visibly. Then at least let us drive you home. The offer is tempting. 8 meters in a storm versus heated leather seats and safety. But Kesha shakes her head. I'll manage. Thank you, though. She walks away, leaving the Williams family standing in the rain, staring after her like she's the most fascinating puzzle they've ever encountered. What Kesha doesn't know is that she just passed a test she didn't know she was taking. And tomorrow, everything she thinks she knows about her life is about to change forever. But the Williams family wasn't finished with Kesha. In fact, they were just getting started. And what they discovered about her would change everything. The 8-mile walk home takes Kesha 2 hours. Rain soaks through her clothes, but she barely notices. Her mind replays the encounter. The way Catherine Williams went pale at hearing her mother's name, the loaded looks between grandmother and father, the business card burning in her pocket. By the time she reaches their apartment, it's past 1000 p.m. Rosa waits at the kitchen table, worry etched in every line of her face. Baby, where have you been? I was about to call the police. Kesha considers lying, making up some story about the bus breaking down, but Rosa has enough to worry about without adding deception. I helped someone today, a boy who collapsed downtown. How did you help? Rosa's voice sharpens with concern. Medical emergency, diabetic shock. I bought glucose gel, waited with him until the paramedics arrived. Rosa studies her daughter's face. The wet clothes, the exhausted expression, the way Kesha avoids her eyes. What did this help cost us? Everything. It cost them everything, but Kesha can't say that. Just bus money. I walked home in this storm. Kesha Marie Williams, you could have been hurt or worse. He was dying. Mom, I couldn't just walk away. Rosa's anger melts into something sadder. Pride mixed with despair. I know, baby, I raised you to help people, but we can't save everyone if we can't save ourselves. Before Kesha can respond, her phone buzzes. Unknown number, but she recognizes the voice immediately. Kesha, this is Catherine Williams. This is I hope I'm not calling too late. Rosa's eyes narrow. She mouths, who is that? It's fine, Mrs. Williams. What can I do for you? I wanted to check on you, make sure you made it home safely, and to thank you again for what you did for David. How is he? Much better, thanks to you. Full recovery expected. Catherine pauses. Kesha, I meant what I said earlier. We need to talk. There are things about your family that you don't know. My family? I'm not sure what you mean. Your mother, Rosa, we knew her once, long ago. Kesha's blood turns cold. Rosa is watching her face, reading every micro-expression. I think you have me confused with someone else. No confusion, dear. Could we meet tomorrow for coffee? There's so much to explain. Kesha looks at Rosa, who's gone rigid with tension. I'll have to call you back. Of course. But Kesha, don't wait too long. Some truths have been buried for 20 years. It's time they saw daylight. The line goes dead. Rosa hasn't moved, hasn't breathed. What did she want? Rosa's voice is barely a whisper. Thank you. And two. Kesha hesitates. She said she knew you once. The color drains from Rosa's face. She grips the table edge, knuckles white. Rosa Williams, she says slowly. Catherine asked about Rosa Williams. Mom, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Rosa stands abruptly, pacing the small kitchen like a caged animal. What else did she say? There are things about our family I don't know. Truths buried for 20 years. Rosa stops pacing. Her shoulders sag with the weight of secrets too long carried. Baby, sit down. We need to talk. But before Rosa can say another word, there's a knock at the door. Soft but persistent. They never get visitors, especially not at 11 p.m. Through the peephole, Kesha sees a young man in an expensive suit holding an enormous bouquet of white roses. Delivery for Kesha Williams, he calls out. The flowers are stunning. Flowers are easily $200 worth. The card reads, thank you for saving David. Your kindness won't be forgotten. The Williams family. Rosa stares at the bouquet like it might explode. They sent flowers, Kesha says unnecessarily. I can see that. Mom, what is this about? How do you know these people? Rosa closes her eyes. 20 years of carefully guarded secrets weighing on her shoulders. The boy you saved today. David Williams. She pauses, searching for courage. He's your cousin. The words hit Kesha like lightning. My what? Your father's nephew. My father. Kesha's voice cracks. You said you didn't know who my father was. You said he was gone before I was born. I lied. Rosa's confession comes out as a whisper. I lied about everything. Outside, rain continues to fall. But inside their small apartment, a storm 20 years in the making is finally about to break. And when it does, Kesha Williams, the girl who thought she knew exactly who she was, is going to discover that her entire life has been built on secrets that powerful people have spent decades trying to bury. The flowers sit on their table like beautiful evidence of a truth that's about to change everything. What Rosa revealed next would shatter everything Kesha believed about her family. But first, she had to survive a sleepless night of questions that demanded answers. The white roses sit on their kitchen table like accusers. Beautiful but threatening. Rosa can't stop staring at them. Mom, talk to me. How is David my cousin? Who is my father? Rosa's hands shake as she pours herself water. His name was Thomas. Thomas Williams. The name hits Kesha like a physical blow. Williams. The same name as the medical center. The same name as the boys she saved. The same name as the powerful family who treated her kindness like a mystery to solve. Was he dead 3 years ago? 3 years car accident. 20 years of questions suddenly have shape. He was David's uncle, Catherine Williams's son, a doctor, brilliant, kind, and too weak to stand up to his family when it mattered. Rosa moves to the window, staring out at the Oakland skyline. Somewhere out there, the Williams family lives in mansions with views she'll never see. I was 19 when I met him. Working as a certified nursing assistant at Oakland General, Thomas was doing his residency. Rosa's voice grows soft with memory. He was different from other rich boys. Actually, I listened when I talked. Saw me as a person, not just hired help. What happened? We fell in love, or I thought we did. Bitterness creeps into Rosa's tone. When I got pregnant with you, everything changed. Kesha's mind races. The Williams family didn't approve. Approve? Rosa laughs harshly. They offered me $50,000 to disappear. Cash on the condition I never contact Thomas again and never tell you who your father was. $50,000. 20 years ago, that was a fortune. Life-changing money for a teenage single mother. You didn't take it, I took their money. Rosa's admission hangs heavy in the air, but not for the reasons they thought. I took it because I knew they'd never accept you, never accept us, and I wasn't going to raise my daughter in a family that saw her as a problem to be solved. So, you disappeared, changed my address, never told Thomas I was keeping you. Let him think I'd gotten rid of the problem. The cruelty of it hits Kesha like a wave. He never knew I existed. Oh, he knew. The Williams family made sure he knew exactly what he'd lost by choosing their approval over our love. Rosa pulls out a shoebox from under her bed. Inside, yellowed newspaper clippings. Williams Medical Center opens new children's wing. Thomas Williams, MD, leads pediatric innovation. Local doctor dies in tragic accident. I kept track, Rosa admits. I wondered what your life might have been like. Kesha studies the photos. A handsome man with her eyes, her smile, her father, the stranger who gave her life but never knew her name. And now his family knows exactly who you are, and they're going to want to make amends for 20 years of lost time. Is that bad? Rosa meets her daughter's eyes. Baby, the Williams family doesn't do anything small. When they want to fix something, they throw money at it until it goes away. Maybe they've changed. Maybe. But tomorrow, when you meet Catherine Williams for coffee, you're going to find out exactly what kind of people they really are. Outside, the storm continues. Inside, Kesha holds photographs of the father she never knew, wondering if saving David Williams was fate or just terrible timing. Either way, there's no going back now. The next morning, Catherine Williams was waiting with a truth so shocking it would rewrite everything Kesha thought she knew about her family's story. Grind Coffee sits directly across from Williams Medical Center. Kesha arrives 15 minutes early, nervous energy making her fidget with the bus transfer in her pocket. Through floor-to-ceiling windows, she can see the modern health care complex her father helped build. The cafe buzzes with medical professionals on break. Doctors in expensive suits discuss weekend golf plans. Nurses compare vacation photos from Europe. Conversations about health insurance policies that Rosa could never dream of accessing. Catherine Williams enters at exactly 2:00 p.m., mid-60s. Silver hair in a perfect bob, carrying herself with the quiet authority of old money. But her eyes hold something Kesha didn't expect. Genuine nervousness. Thank you for coming, Catherine says, settling across from her. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't. Catherine orders 2 lattes without asking what Kesha wants. The assumption irritates her, but she stays quiet. Tell me about your life, Catherine begins. Your family, your dreams, what matters to you? It feels like a job interview. Kesha answers carefully. Jamal's academic success, Rosa's work ethic despite illness, her abandoned college plans due to financial constraints. Nursing school, Catherine muses, just like your mother. You really knew her. I knew her well. Catherine's expression grows complicated. Rosa was exceptional, brilliant, compassionate, dedicated to her patients. Thomas fell in love with her the moment they met. But your family didn't approve. We were wrong. The admission comes quietly, cruelly, inexcusably wrong. But Catherine, there's something Rosa didn't tell you. Something she couldn't have known. Kesha's stomach tightens. What? Catherine reaches into her purse, withdrawing an envelope. Expensive stationery, legal firm letterhead. This arrived at our offices yesterday morning, 1 hour after the hospital called about David's accident. She slides the envelope across the table. Open it. Inside, Kesha finds a letter dated 3 days ago. Her hands tremble as she reads, "Dear Catherine Williams, my name is Rosa Williams. 20 years ago, your family paid me to disappear from your son Thomas's life. I kept that promise until now, but I'm dying. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer diagnosed last month. The doctors give me 6 months, maybe less. I have a daughter, Kesha, who deserves to know her father's family before I'm gone. She doesn't know I'm writing this. She doesn't know how sick I am. But she needs you now more than she needs my pride. Please find it in your heart to help her when I can't anymore. Rosa Williams." The letter falls from Kesha's numb fingers. The cafe noise fades to white static. "Your mother is dying." Catherine's voice seems to come from far away. She didn't tell me." Kesha's voice cracks. "Stage 4 cancer." The letter arrived Tuesday morning. "That afternoon, you saved David's life." Catherine's eyes fill with tears. "Do you understand what this means?" Kesha shakes her head, unable to process. "Rosa reached out to us after 20 years of silence, asking us to help her daughter. 6 hours later, that same daughter saves our grandson's life without knowing who he was, without knowing who we were, without expecting any reward." The implications crash over Kesha like a tsunami. "She knew you might help me. She was giving us a chance to prove we'd changed, to show we could see past our prejudices and recognize your worth." Catherine reaches across the table. "But you proved your worth all on your own. I need to call her." Kesha fumbles for her phone. She's at Oakland General. She collapsed this morning during her shift at the cleaning company. The world tilts. "What? We have a car waiting outside. I've arranged for the best oncologists in California to examine her immediately. You. How did you? Because 20 years ago, we failed your mother when she needed us most. We're not going to fail her again. Are you?" Catherine stands, but Kesha remains frozen in her chair. "There's more, isn't there?" Kesha whispers. Catherine sits back down. "Yes, much more." She produces another document. "Thomas never stopped looking for you and Rosa. When our private investigators finally located you 5 years ago, Thomas wanted to reach out immediately. We convinced him to wait. Why? Pride, fear, the same prejudices that drove Rosa away." Catherine's voice breaks. "Thomas died still believing he'd failed you both. He never knew about Rosa's illness. Never knew you were struggling financially while we sat on millions that should have been yours. Millions. Thomas's inheritance was held in trust, waiting for his children. All of it, every penny he should have left to you." Catherine slides a bank document across the table. $2.8 million plus 20 years of investment growth. The numbers blur through Kesha's tears. More money than she could spend in 10 lifetimes. "This is why Rosa wrote to you." Kesha realizes she knew about the inheritance. She never asked for herself, only for you. Even dying, she put your future above her pride. Kesha thinks of Rosa counting pills each morning, rationing insulin, working 2 jobs while cancer consumed her body, all to protect a daughter who never knew the sacrifice being made. "I have to see her." "Of course. But Kesha," Catherine's voice carries decades of regret. "Your mother kept secrets to protect you from our family's failures. Now it's time for us to prove we deserve the chance she's given us." Outside the cafe windows, the Williams Medical Center gleams in afternoon sunlight. The building her father designed. The legacy he built. The family fortune that should have prevented every struggle Rosa and Kesha ever faced. All of it waiting for a granddaughter who learned about her inheritance by saving a stranger's life in the rain. The girl who spent her last dollar helping someone else was about to discover she'd been a multi-millionaire all along. What the Williams family offered next would force Kesha to choose between everything she'd ever known and a future that seemed impossible to believe. The ride to Oakland General happens in a blur of luxury. Catherine's Mercedes glides through streets Kesha usually walks past, bus stops where she's waited in rain and heat. Through neighborhoods that suddenly feel like scenes from someone else's life. "Your mother is in the VIP wing," Catherine explains. "Private room, best doctor's money can buy. She's stable but dying. The cancer is aggressive. Without treatment, maybe 4 months. With the best care available, possibly 2 years. 2 years. It sounds like forever and no time at all. They find Rosa propped up in a hospital bed that probably costs more per day than their monthly rent. She looks smaller, somehow, frailer, like admitting her illness has aged her overnight. "Baby." Rosa's voice is weak, but her eyes are fierce. "What are you doing here?" "Mrs. Williams called me." Kesha sits beside the bed, taking Rosa's hand. "Mom, why didn't you tell me?" "Because you would have given up everything to take care of me, just like you gave up college." Just like you gave up your dreams. Rosa's eyes fill with tears. I couldn't let you sacrifice your future for my mistakes. Taking care of your family isn't a mistake. No, but keeping you from yours was. Catherine clears her throat from the doorway. Rosa, may I come in? Rosa's expression hardens. 20 years of resentment don't disappear because of one letter and a hospital room. You look good, Catherine. Rich living agrees with you. You look tired, Rosa. Hard living doesn't. The tension could cut glass. Two women who've spent decades on opposite sides of choices that shaped 3 lives. I got your letter, Catherine says carefully. I figured when Kesha showed up. Why now, after all these years of silence? Rosa's laugh turns into a cough. Because I'm dying, and pride is a luxury I can't afford anymore. We could have helped. Any time in the last 20 years, we could have helped. Would you have, or would you have thrown money at the problem until it went away? Catherine has no answer for that. David appears in the doorway, looking healthier than yesterday, but carrying guilt like a weight. Mrs. Williams, I'm David. I wanted to thank you for raising someone so incredible. Rosa studies this boy, her daughter's cousin, her former lover's nephew. You look like your Uncle Thomas. Same kind eyes. Kesha saved my life yesterday. That's what she does. Saves people who don't deserve saving. The comment stings, but David doesn't flinch. You're right, I don't deserve it. My family doesn't deserve it, but we want to try earning it now. Robert Williams enters next, carrying legal documents and the weight of family shame. Rosa, I owe you an apology. 20 years overdue. You owe me nothing, but you owe your brother's daughter everything. The adults begin discussing logistics, medical care for Rosa, the best specialists, experimental treatments, whatever might buy time, education, funding for Kesha, full nursing school, living expenses, everything she needs to build the career she's dreamed of. And then the inheritance, $2.8 million plus accrued interest plus Thomas's share of family investments. Enough money to transform not just Kesha's life but generations of her family's future. It's too much. Kesha finally speaks up. I can't accept all this. It was never ours to keep. Catherine replies. This money belonged to Thomas's children. That means it belongs to you. But conditions, right, there are always conditions. The room falls quiet. Catherine and Robert exchange glances. Just one, Catherine says. Family dinners once a month. Let us get to know you. Let us be part of your life if you'll have us. That's it. That's it. No control over your choices. No expectations about your career or relationships. Just inclusion. Kesha looks at Rosa, searching for guidance. But Rosa is staring out the window at Oakland's skyline, processing 20 years of what ifs. There's something else, David adds quietly. A project I want to start. Community health outreach in East Oakland. Free clinics, medical education, helping families like yours navigate healthcare access. I want you to help me design it. Me. You understand what it's like to choose between medication and meals. Most of us don't. Rosa turns back to the room. And if Kesha says no to all of this, then we respect her choice, Catherine answers. The inheritance is hers legally regardless. Thomas wanted his children provided for. We can't change that, but we hope she won't say no, Robert adds. We've lost 20 years with Thomas's daughter. We don't want to lose 20 more. The offer hangs in the air like a bridge between two worlds. On one side, the life Kesha has always known. Struggle, sacrifice, making impossible. Choices between basic needs. On the other, possibilities she never dared imagine. Education, security, the chance to help others without destroying herself in the process. But it means accepting help from people who rejected her mother. It means trusting a family that spent 2 decades convincing themselves their prejudices were justified. I need time to think, Kesha says finally. Of course, Catherine nods. But while you're thinking, would you consider staying here tonight with your mother? The guest suite is comfortable and she shouldn't be alone. Kesha looks at Rosa, who nods slightly. Okay, one night, Catherine agrees. And tomorrow, whatever you decide, we'll respect it. But as the Williams family files out of the room, leaving Kesha alone with her dying mother and impossible choices. None of them truly believe she'll walk away from the future that's finally within her reach. The question isn't whether she'll accept their offer. The question is whether she can forgive them for waiting 20 years to make it. 6 months later, the transformation wasn't just personal. It had rippled through the entire Oakland community in ways no one could have predicted. Before and after, Kesha. Then Kesha Williams counting crumpled dollar bills at a bus stop, calculating whether she could afford both fare home and lunch tomorrow. Now, Kesha Williams in crisp scrubs, walking confidently through UC Davis nursing school halls, her stethoscope draped around her neck. The girl who once rationed bus fare now focuses entirely on pharmacology and patient care funded by an education trust that finally reached its intended destination. This feels surreal, she tells her study group. 6 months ago, I was cleaning houses to pay for my mom's insulin. Her classmates see the brilliant student who aces every exam, who approaches each clinical rotation with genuine compassion. They don't know she once spent her last dollar saving a stranger's life. Before and after, Rosa. Then Rosa Williams in their cramped apartment counting diabetes pills into daily organizers, rationing medication like a war survivor hoarding food. Now Rosa Williams in a bright 2-bedroom apartment in Oakland's Taskell district, managing her cancer treatment with cutting-edge immunotherapy and targeted radiation. The experimental treatments Catherine arranged have exceeded all expectations. Doctors now estimate years, not months. Look at this, Rosa calls out, showing Kesha a letter from Williams Medical Center. They offered me a position directing their new community health advocacy program. Using my experience to help other families navigate the healthcare maze. The irony isn't lost on either of them. Rosa will now work in the building named for the family that once paid her to disappear, but this time as a valued professional, not invisible labor. Before and after the community. The Williams Community Health Initiative launched in East Oakland 3 months ago. What started as David's guilt-driven project has become a model program attracting national attention. Free clinics in former food deserts. Mobile health units bringing preventive care to apartment complexes where Rosa once cleaned offices at midnight. Diabetes education programs taught by people who've actually lived with the disease, not just studied it. We serve 300 families now, David tells the Oakland Tribune reporter. But the real measure isn't numbers, it's stories. Like Mrs. Lane, who hadn't seen a doctor in 5 years because she couldn't afford it. Now she's managing her hypertension and teaching other Chinese seniors about heart health in Mandarin. Before and after family dynamics. Sunday family dinners rotate between the Williams estate in the hills and Rosa's new apartment. Catherine Williams, who once moved through Oakland like a tourist in her own city, now knows the names of Rosa's neighbors and the stories behind their struggles. I was wrong about everything, Catherine admits to the cameras following their story. I thought Rosa wasn't good enough for our family. Truth was, we weren't good enough for her. At Rosa's apartment, 12-year-old Jamal tutors kids from his old school, while David helps with advanced math. The age difference doesn't matter. They've bonded over shared experiences of feeling disconnected from privilege. David taught me that having money doesn't automatically make you happy, Jamal explains to a journalist. And I taught him that not having money doesn't automatically make you miserable. We're teaching each other how to be human. The ripple effect. Mel's Diner, where Kesha once bussed tables, now employs 4 other pre-N nursing students whose tuition is covered by the expanded Williams Scholarship Program. Sue, the manager, jokes that she's running a future healthcare workers training ground instead of just a restaurant. The Grind Coffee Cafe, where Catherine first revealed the family connection, now hosts weekly community care meetings. Medical professionals volunteer free consultations every Thursday evening. What started as the Williams family's attempt at community service has been replicated in 12 Oakland neighborhoods. Even the boutique district where David collapsed has changed. Store managers keep emergency medical supplies and have received basic first aid training. The culture of walking past emergencies has transformed into one of engagement and care. Media attention. Oakland Magazine features them on its cover. The strangers who became family. How one act of kindness transformed Oakland healthcare. The article quotes Drive, Sarah Martinez from UCSF. The Williams model proves that effective community health requires authentic partnership between institutions and the people they serve. You can't help communities you don't understand. Local news returns every month to document their progress. The story has everything: dramatic rescue, family secrets, redemption, and tangible community improvement. The bigger picture. But perhaps the most significant change isn't captured in news stories or medical statistics. It's visible in small moments. Catherine Williams grocery shopping in East Oakland, asking Rosa for advice about helping other families. David Williams is learning Spanish so he can better communicate with clinic patients. Rosa Williams designed programs based on 20 years of navigating health care while poor. The girl who spent her last $20 saving a stranger's life had unknowingly started a revolution in how one of Oakland's most powerful families thought about service, privilege, and community responsibility. And this was only the beginning. 2 years later, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon that mirrored the day everything began, Kesha faced another medical emergency. But this time, she wasn't alone. Storm clouds gather over Oakland as Kesha, now a senior nursing student, walks from her clinical rotation at Williams Medical Center. The irony still amazes her, working in the building her father helped design, treating patients her family's foundation supports. Rain begins to fall as she heads toward the BR station, the same route she used to walk when bus fare was a luxury she couldn't afford. Commotion erupts near the familiar boutique district. But this scene is completely different from 2 years ago. An elderly woman has collapsed on the sidewalk, her shopping bags scattered in the growing puddle. Instead of people hurrying past, a crowd immediately forms to help. "I'm a nursing student," Kesha announces, kneeling beside the woman. But she's not alone. David appears from across the street carrying a first aid kit from his car. Pulse is steady, breathing normal, he reports, having learned emergency response through their community health training. "Mrs. Rodriguez, can you hear me? I'm David from the East Oakland Clinic." The woman's eyes flutter open. "David mijo, what happened? You fainted, but you're okay." Kesha is here. She's practically a real nurse now. Other familiar faces gather around them. Sue from Mel's Diner appears with bottled water. The boutique manager who once worried about liability now holds an umbrella over Mrs. Rodriguez. Even the pharmacist who sold glucose gel 2 years ago offers his professional assessment. "Everyone learned first aid after what happened with that boy," Sue explains to Mrs. Rodriguez. Kesha started something when she refused to walk away. Paramedics arrived to find a well-coordinated scene. The patient stable and conscious, surrounded by people who know exactly how to help rather than just observe. "Nice work, Williams. Both of you," the lead EMT says, recognizing them from their volunteer work. As Mrs. Rodriguez is transported for precautionary observation, David and Kesha stand in the rain, watching their community respond with competence and compassion. "Remember when you said anyone would have done the same?" David asks. "I was wrong," Kesha admits. "But look what happened because someone finally did." The Golden Eagle keychain still hangs from David's car keys. A reminder of the day strangers became family. But now it represents something larger. The ripple effects of choosing kindness over convenience. Rosa texts from the community health center where she's been cancer-free for 8 months. "Saw the news. Proud of you both. Sunday dinner at Catherine's." "Absolutely," Kesha responds. Walking through streets where she once felt invisible, Kesha passes the Williams Medical Center where her photograph now hangs in the Thomas Williams Memorial Hall. Not as a charity case or lost family member, but as a future healer, carrying forward her father's legacy of service. The rain continues, but this time, Kesha doesn't hurry to escape it. She's learned that some storms bring the most growth. And in Oakland, the kindness that started with one girl's impossible choice continues spreading, one act of compassion at a time. The kindness that started with one girl's impossible choice continues spreading through Oakland every single day. And it all began with $23 and a decision to help. Kesha's story proves that extraordinary change starts with ordinary moments. When everyone else walked away from someone in need, she stopped. When it would have been easier to protect her last few dollars, she spent them on a stranger. When powerful people offered to change her life, she made them earn her trust. Today, the Williams Community Health Initiative serves over 2,000 families. Rosa leads health care advocacy across California, and David runs youth programs in 12 cities, teaching privileged kids what service really means. But it all started with a 19-year-old girl who couldn't walk past someone in crisis. Your moment might be waiting around the next corner. In a grocery store, on a bus, in your own neighborhood. The person you help today might change your life tomorrow. What choice will you make when your moment comes? Like this video if Kesha's story inspired you to choose kindness over comfort. Subscribe for more real stories of ordinary people creating extraordinary change. And share this with someone who needs to remember that helping others is never wasted, even when it costs everything you have. Tell us in the comments, what's one act of kindness you've witnessed that restored your faith in humanity? We read every single response.